Friends, we have another wonderful recipe for you today. It's a Vidalia onion stuffed with a sausage, bolognese, a goat cheese Mornay on top, and a roasted bell pepper coulis. You gotta try this recipe. Remember, if you like the recipe, subscribe. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to ring the bell. Well, let me show you how easy it is to prepare. It's a time-consuming deal, though, because we are going to stuff the onion with a Bolognese sauce and a Mornay sauce, and we're going to serve it with a bell pepper coulis underneath. So, all of the recipe will be on our website for the Bolognese, for the Mornay sauce. This is just the technique on how to prepare and stuff the onion. Okay? First of all, this is the time to do it. May, June, July, August is when you are through Vidalia onion in season. They're from Georgia. They really are the only, as far as I'm concerned, they're the only true sweet onion. I mean, there is a lot of sweet onion out there, but they're not very sweet. These guys right there, you can actually take it and bite it like an apple if you like onion. I love onion. That's my thing, okay? I mean, I could live on onion. And so I make them in so many different ways, and that's why I wanted to make sure that I show you how to make this recipe. I used to have a restaurant in Fort Lauderdale called The Left Bank. I had it for 22 years. And I sold it in 1997 and retired and started the cooking school. But this was the stuffed Vidalia onion with the sausage bolognese was one of the most popular items I had in my restaurant for years. So I'm going to show you how to make it. It's really, really fabulous. So you want to pick a big onion. I mean, like I said, you know, if it's in the season where Vidalia onion from Georgia, that's the only place they come from, Georgia. That's where I'm from. Only kidding. Oh, I can see the comment now. He's from Georgia. No, he's not. You're right. I'm not. I was only kidding. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to empty the inside of it. And then I'm going to poach it in water. Now, if you can't get Vidalia onion and it's out of season, you want to get a Spanish onion or a white onion, what I do is in the water that I poach it, I add a little bit of sugar. And that really, really softens the onion. So it's a little trick you can use if you can't find Vidalia onion. Vidalia onion are quite special, where the pepper skin is just like falling apart, you know. And they flatter. They flatter besides the fact that they're super sweet. They're kind of a flat. They're not like a Spanish onion that is really round or big and round. Those are kind of flat a little bit. They're almost like a cipollini onion. I don't know if you ever use cipollini onion, but they're smaller, but they're flat also as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove the roots, but very, very little of the roots. I don't want, remember, I'm going to empty, so I want to remove almost nothing. You see, look, almost nothing on the roots, okay? Because I am going to dig in the onion, and if I remove too much, then we're gonna have a hole in there. I just want to make sure it's flat in the bottom. That's all. So I almost remove nothing, right? As you can see. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut. Let me grab this knife. I love this knife right there, offset deli slicer. And I'm going to make sure that I'm going to cut the top of the onion, but it has to be perpendicular. Perpendicular? Even. That's what I mean. That's probably perpendicular. That's how you say it, right? Those two lines have to be inside. So the onion is flat and the top is perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the top of the onion. And I'm going to try not to cut too much. So it is kind of straight, kind of a little more straight here. I got to make sure it is a little straight. There we go, we're a little straight. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to peel it, and we're going to stuff it. We're going to peel it. We don't want to peel more than we have to. All right, the skin of a Vidalia is very thin, you see. We're going to peel it right there. All right, so now we have it. Now what I have to do is I have to, let me get my scraper. I forgot my scraper. Here it is. I do not like to scrape my cutting surface with my knife. I never do that with my knife. I always use a scraper. It makes it so much easier. Plus, you don't destroy your knife while you're doing this. You know, I see it all the time, people scraping their board with a knife and not destroying the burrs, the microscopic teeth of your knife. So always use a scraper. Don't use the knife. Okay, so now right there, it's a little crooked, but it's okay. It's going to find its way. It's not as straight as I would like it, but it really doesn't matter that much as long as it's not too crooked, because we're going to poach it. It's going to change shape anyway. All right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to remove the inside of this onion, and I'm using a melon ball cutter. You see, I'm using a melon ball cutter to remove the inside of it. We want to remove quite a bit, but not too much. Okay, we want to remove quite a bit because what's going to happen is we're going to put the sausage bolognese on the inside of it, you see? So you want to remove a nice amount, but don't remove too much. And this right there, this is fabulous to cook with, eh? You chop it up, you put it in an omelette, you put it in a sauce, you put it in anything you want. See, now you understand why it was very important not to remove too much of the root. If I would have removed too much of the root right there, I'd have a hole in there, okay? So what we're going to do now, we're going to cook them. Now, let's say it happens, because trust me, I've done enough of those. Literally, we would sell hundreds of those at the restaurant. People used to love it, love it, love it, love it. You're going to love it too. It just takes a little time to prepare, but it's not difficult, right? Let's say it happens and you make a hole in the bottom. It's going to happen to you. You know what I do is I save a few of those pieces right there. And when after it's cooked, I'll add a few of them, of those pieces in there. After it's cooked, I just put a few. I didn't cut that many big ones, but this is going to flatten. You put it in the water in the same time, right? And then you poach them. And then if you have a hole in there, you can put a little bandage in there. Right? Now, what I like to do, I like to make it nice and neat. See, I like to make it neat, so I take my knife and I just clean it up so I have a nice clean opening, okay? All right? And this is it right there, friends. And this, we're going to stuff it with the bolognese, and then we're going to stuff it with we're going to top it with the Mornay sauce on top. And if you don't want to do a Mornay sauce, you could do cheese on it or something. But I'll talk about that later. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to put it in my water. Since it's the Vidalia onion, I do not need to put sugar in my water. But if it was a regular Spanish or a yellow onion, then I would put a little bit of sugar in my water. I'm going to do a couple of them. Here we go. Just going to put it in the water. Okay. Well, friends, the onion have come out of the water. You know, you got to get ready for this. It could take a long time to be in there, you know. They could be in there 25, 35 minutes. You got to cook them until they're soft. But be careful, then they don't fall apart on you. See, you can feel it. Can you see the bottom of it? See the way it's moving right there? But it's still one piece, you see, because we cut very, very little over here, right? So, but it's still, it's pretty... fragile at this point, so we have to be careful because we want them to be cooked, okay? You don't want a raw onion here. And then on the inside, we're going to put a sausage bolognese, and we have a recipe for that, okay? You can do a regular beef bolognese. You can make a tofu bolognese. You can make a chicken bolognese. You can make a bolognese with just about anything you want, friends. And then we're going to stuff it in, really, 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 really making sure that this is a good serving of bolognese in that onion, okay? Really, really, really like all the way in there. And then what I do is I take my spoon and I really, really, really push it in. So it's really all in there, okay? And let me tell you something there. You know, I do the same thing with the zucchini. I take a zucchini, I cut it in half. I take most of the seeds off. I drizzle them with olive oil. I cook them in the oven. Instead of this, I cook in water because it's the onion. And then I do the same deal. Well, I make the Bolognese sauce, same exact deal, right? The Bolognese sauce. And then on top of the Bolognese sauce, let me get it right. On top of the Bolognese sauce, I'm going to put a little Mornay sauce. You don't have to put Mornay sauce. You could just take mozzarella cheese or Swiss cheese or Parmigiano Reggiano on top of it and do it. But, you know, I made this beautiful Mornay sauce. This is what you make when you make a macaroni and cheese. I have a recipe for that. You got to see my recipe for the macaroni and cheese. I promise you, you guys are going to love it. This is really good stuff right there. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at this. This is like... And like I said, I make the zucchini the same way. Or roasted bell pepper, I do the same deal with a roasted bell pepper. This right there, friends, let me tell you something. That day you do this for your better half, oh, let me tell you something right there, friends, you see? Nice and delicate, like Parmigiano Reggiano on it, or Pecorino Romano, or whatever cheese you want. Right, just put it right on there, friends. Oh yeah, baby, right there. Then you take your onion right there. And you're gonna go in the oven. Now remember, if they're still hot, you don't need to worry about going in the oven for a very long time. But if they were cold, like you made them yesterday, right? You took them out of the fridge because you cook them in advance, right? Then you're going to have to go in a low temperature oven, like maybe 275, 300, until the inside temperature is 140, 145. And then you serve it. I'm going to serve it with a tomato and bell pepper coulis, or just a bell pepper coulis. I love serving things with a bell pepper coulis these days. I don't know, it's my thing. And there's a fabulous recipe for that. Or you make a nice tomato sauce. Or take a tomato sauce, puree it with an immersion blender, make it nice and smooth, and put this in the bottom of the plate. It'll be delicious also. All right, we're going to pop them in the oven until they're beautiful golden brown, and then we're going to plate them. Okay, friends, we're now going to take them out of the oven. Right there, the goat cheese Mornay is perfect. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of parsley on top. Really, really simple. You can skip that if you want. You can put a little julienne of basil in there. It'll be pretty also. You certainly don't need to do anything. It's going to be pretty. And then I'm going to serve it with a bell pepper coulis, okay? And like I say, we can do a tomato coulis in there. It'll be delicious also. But a bell pepper is actually perfect. And this is one of my favorite. I'm just going to get a tongue. I forgot to take a tongue right there. There we go. And we're going to, oh, wow, look at that. That's beautiful. Oh, wow. We're going to take it, and we're going to put it right in here, just like this. Just like this. That's all you do, friends. You do not have to do any more than that. This is actually perfect. This is a beautiful appetizer. Simple to make. You can make them in advance, and you can just reheat them in the oven. Vidalia onions stuffed with a bolognese and a goat cheese Mornay. You gotta try it. It's really, really beautiful.